Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just want to apologize up front for the kind of weird temporary little setup, I guess, I got going on that I'm tacking onto the beginning of this video. So definitely I apologize for the lighting. It's like pitch black out. So the lighting definitely sucks. My hair is, I probably just look like a ragamuffin because I just got done exercising. And definitely I'm wearing the white shirt. I didn't feel like changing into, my black shirts are one of them, just for this little video. Basically I got home late and I found out a bunch of like drama stuff had happened. I guess that I decided like while I was working out, I just I figured I'd probably need to do like a little video to kind of clarify things. I guess, but basically, Kylie A decided on a whim to do a nonfiction readathon in the month of November, and she asked a couple others like Alex Black and Zoe at the Reader Bee, along with myself to help co-host sort of a nonfiction readathon in the month of November. But yeah, I just want to apologize. I guess this you guys probably know this more than I do. Apparently Nonfiction November has already been taken for several years now. Basically, me being a complete booktube noob, scrub, just started this year. I don't really like look back into time, like past previous years and stuff. So I just want to apologize because a Book Olive and Gemma at Nonfic Books have already basically had Nonfiction November as an event for a couple of years now. So I just wanted to clarify things because in the video I talk about Nonfiction November or Nonfiction November Readathon, something like that, and we're changing ours so we don't like step on toes and everything to NFN 2018. Just because, like I said, this is kind of like a spontaneous kind of one-off thing. I don't think it's going to be like an every year sort of thing. But like I said, the reason like I said, the kind of temporary setup and everything. Basically, I live out in the sticks and my internet is like complete garbage. So the way I upload my videos is usually overnight while we're sleeping and stuff. But so for me to put it up for tomorrow, which is going to be Monday, obviously when the video's up, I have to film this like late tonight on Sunday night. Obviously for me to edit it and put into the video that I had already recorded several days ago. So that's why I apologize for kind of the just complete setup, everything. And like I said, I got home late and didn't find about it till like, yeah, like an hour and a half ago, and then I did my workout, and that's why I look like a total ragamuffin and everything. But like I said, I just want to apologize about the whole like taking the same name and stuff. So definitely apologize about that. My fault for not doing like the research and everything. But anyways, I hope no one's too upset about it. Just like I said, I'm gonna leave their links down below. Book Olive and Nonfic Books. I'll leave their links down below, and the announcement in their Twitter handle for their Nonfiction November event going on, because I don't want like any drama or anything. That's like, as you guys probably know if you follow my channel, pretty much I'm like the least dramatic person like on BookTube. I've never done any of this kind of like monologue type stuff, I guess. So yeah, sorry, this part of the video is definitely gonna be complete trash basically, but apologize for that. But just on to the regular part of the video, and I hope you enjoy it. See you then. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here at Trumful Reads, and in this video I have what I think is a really cool announcement video for you, and it is a Nonfiction November readathon idea. And this was created by Kylie A, and along with Zoe at Reader Bee and Alex Black, along with myself as co-host, we've kind of come up with this kind of cool concept for just getting people involved with Nonfiction November. Where we take November, and if you read nonfiction, you read more of it, or if you're new to the genre, you basically give it a whirl and see if you can find something you like, which I think is awesome. Just because I think nonfiction is often neglected. It's either some people think it's intimidating when it definitely doesn't have to be, or that it's dull and boring, in which it certainly doesn't have to be either. So I just think this is a great idea to basically get exposure for nonfiction, which is obviously my favorite genre. If you guys follow my channel at all, I'd say it's probably like a 3/4 or 1/4 split of nonfiction and fiction. But I mean, no matter what basically your levels of reading nonfiction are, this could be a great way just to like I said, just try it out as a new genre for you. Or if you, like I said, if you already read nonfiction, just a great time to have fun reading more nonfiction. So we had a couple just sort of goals, just kind of vague, abstract goals in mind, along with some more specific challenges. And basically the goals are to give nonfiction definitely some more exposure. Basically, if you've never read nonfiction and you pick up one nonfiction work and at least give it a try, that's basically considered a win for us. I definitely consider that a win. Just anyone trying nonfiction that's never tried it before is definitely a plus. There's so much nonfiction out there on pretty much any topic you can think of, and like I said, there's funny nonfiction writers that are witty and humorous. Definitely doesn't have to be boring. There's exciting nonfiction, all kinds of stuff going on. But like I said, we had a couple other goals in mind, and one of the other big things is to try and learn something new, which I think will be really exciting, like in your, for example, in your November wrap-ups, to basically just, if you attempted some nonfiction books, or even read just a little bit of some nonfiction, basically try to reveal or explain what you found out, either about nonfiction or about that book in particular, just basically anything new or exciting that you found out that you didn't know before. I'd love to hear that. That'd be super cool. That's what I'm most looking forward to with this readathon. We also want to try and push for for in the month of November, if you're doing this, to try and not DNF a nonfiction book, which I know sounds hard at first, but I think a good idea behind this is basically to try and, like, before you just grab any nonfiction book, try and find something that you think you'll enjoy reading about. For example, if you like, birds or nature or whatever, try and read something that you think will cover that topic, in a good way that you'll enjoy. And that's the whole point, is to find things that you'll enjoy reading. Otherwise, none of us would be reading anyways. So I just encourage you to try and not DNF a book. And then overall, we want to try and have people try at least maybe 4 books. But we're definitely not going to be sticklers about that. If you really want to DNF a book because you get like 2 chapters into it and you absolutely hate it, I'm not going to hold it against you if you DNF it. Or if you only try 1 book and you like it and you only want to read 1 book, that's fine too. Just let me know what you guys read. I'd love to hear what you guys basically discover out there. But anyways, we do have a bunch of more specific like challenges, I guess, or prompts. I always find them helpful, like with the fiction or fantasy prompts. I found a lot of books that I would never have picked up before because of the prompts. So, just if you don't want to follow them, don't bother. But if you'd like to try some of them out, let's just go ahead and go through them. And I try to come up with a book for each prompt, or most of the prompts anyways, just to give you guys, like, just something. And pretty much from here on to the end of November, I'm going to try and put out just a whole slew of nonfiction related videos. If you have something in mind in particular that you'd like to see, just leave a comment down below and I'll see if I can work something out. For example, like maybe recommendations on a specific topic, something like that. I'd be happy to help you in any way I can. But let's just go through some of the challenges. The first one is to read a book with diagrams, charts, or graphs. I picked a kind of a silly book that I read earlier. It wasn't my favorite book, but I think a lot of people, this would definitely be a very accessible book for people new to nonfiction. And it's A Brief History of Vice, How Bad Behavior Built Civilization by Robert Evans. Basically, he just does tons of, taboo or bad things, basically throughout history, or what people have considered bad or whatever, and he's got recipes and basically how-tos and stuff, but and like, for example, there's some charts and graphs and stuff in there. Do these things at your own peril. I will say some of them are pretty out there, some are fairly mundane, but some are pretty insane. But I just think that's kind of a silly fun book for someone who's maybe intimidated by nonfiction. Read a book with a map in it. Okay. A book I really loved this year was Prisoners of Geography, 10 Maps That Explain Everything About the World by Tim Marshall. And this book, if you like modern politics or things like that, this book basically explains the geopolitics of the world just tremendously. I can't recommend that one enough, and obviously that one's got maps in it. Alright, read a book about nature. My favorite nature book so far this year was A Naturalist Goes Fishing by James McClintock. He mixes basically science and ecology, biology, like stuff about, like, the fish and the environment and stuff, along with like literal fishing tales with his buddies and stuff, along with conservationism, and he blends it all together in this like just awesome masterpiece of a book. I can't recommend this one enough. That's a nature book that I really enjoyed. All right, a memoir or a biography? Let's see. I've read quite a few biographies. You know, I probably, unless you're really obsessed with Theodore Roosevelt, even though The Rise of Theodore Roosevelt was my favorite biography of the year, it's like 800 pages long. I would not recommend that to someone who's new to nonfiction. If you really like sort of the progressive or the Gilded Age of America, or Theodore Roosevelt, obviously, definitely give that one a shot. There are quite a few science nature memoirs that I really enjoy. Like I said, that Natural Schools Fishing one is a pretty good mix of memoir and science. Let's see, A Soul of an Octopus is really good, and Atlas of a Lost World, Travels in Ice Age America are really good, or How I Killed Pluto is a really good astronomy memoir. So there's lots of science memoirs that I think do a really good job. I think the material just situates itself very well for basically science and memoir, like combining, basically, I guess. So I would give that a try. All right, read a STEM book, so science, technology, engineering, mathematics. I might read, I haven't read it yet, but Sam Keen's The Disappearing Spoon. I've heard really good things about this book, and I think this book is all about basically the periodic table and the different elements, and just kind of interesting tales about lots of different, you know, pure elements and stuff. So I'm not really sure what it is, but it sounds like it's got a lot of anecdotes and funny stuff in it, so I might read The Disappearing Spoon. Alright, read a book about a different culture other than your own, or a country you haven't been to. I don't have too many of those books in my library, because actually a lot of my library is ancient, medieval, and classical history and stuff. I don't have too much modern stuff. But I might go with How the Scots Invented the Modern World. So this would be about, basically, the sort of the Scottish Renaissance, obviously around like the University of Edinburgh and stuff. But I haven't read hardly anything about Scotland, even though I have some Scottish heritage, so I think that'd be a good one for me to try out. Alright, read a book about a war conflict other than World War II, and the reason we put that caveat, which, I mean, we're not going to hold it against you if you really want to read a World War II book, is that we feel that a lot of times World War II basically overshadows pretty much every other thing in history, like war conflict wise. So we just wanted people to be exposed to other things. Like I particularly enjoy reading about World War I. I have about, what, 3/4 of a shelf of World War I books. My favorite one so far that I've ever read is A World Undone, The Story of the Great War, 1914-1918 by G.J. Meyer. However, this is a very long book. However, it is very readable, and I learned a ton, and it's just a great overview of World War I. But there's also lots of other things too, and including modern stuff, basically the crises in Africa. There's lots of books on that, as well as the Syrian Civil War. I'd be interested to see if anyone reads something about a modern conflict such as that. Alright, read a book with nonfiction poetry, which is a thing. I honestly don't have any, and I'm going to try and find something in the month of November to read for that challenge, just to kind of expand my horizons and try something different. But there are like nonfiction, or excuse me, there are like poetic memoirs and stuff. I've never tried any of them, but like I said, I want to try and branch out and just try something new that I haven't read for nonfiction before. So that might be kind of interesting, and if you guys have any suggestions for that, leave some comments down below. Alright, read a collection of essays. I have a couple. I have one book on essays on like ancient Rome by a bunch of like scholars from like the turn of the 1900s or the 20th century or something. I might read an essay from Lord Acton's Essays on Freedom and Power. Basically, Lord Acton was a Victorian who just studied basically the whole concept of freedom and basically just studied freedom and democracy and stuff like that. And he wrote a bunch. He never wrote any books, but he wrote a lot of kind of little articles and essays. And I think they've been collated into books such as this. And he's the famous guy that had the quote, all power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I've never read anything by him, but he is a pretty famous scholar from the 1800s. I'd be interested to see what he has to say. Alright, another challenge is to read a book by a journalist. I think I've read a couple this year, but my favorite, I believe, was Deep by James Nestor, and the subtitle is Freediving, Renegade Science, and What the Ocean Tells Us or Reveals About Ourselves, something like that. This was a really interesting book. He was basically kind of like a sports or kind of like outdoorsy kind of journalist, but he got assigned to do like an article or something on like the free diving championships of the world or something. Basically, he got like super interested in free diving, not as a sport, but just sort of as a hobby to like, you know, be like, you know, naturally in the water and stuff with that scuba gear and stuff. But he does interviews with like professional free divers and like coaches and scientists and everything. I just thought it was really cool. And journalists do have like kind of a way. They're already obviously professional writers, but they have sort of, they know they have to like write in kind of an engaging way to basically keep working and stuff. So I think they do have kind of an edge on like writing, it's like really convincing, kind of like I said, encouraging, sort of engaging works, I guess, if that makes sense. But I really enjoyed this book. And he isn't like afraid to like condemn basically the arrogance of a lot of like freedivers and stuff who like black out and get injured and stuff, just trying to like go deeper and deeper without really any purpose about it and stuff. But and also he like is, like I said, he encourages like the use of freediving for like scientific purposes and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. I didn't know anything about freediving before I read that book, so definitely a good way to branch out and learn something new. All right. A book with no pictures. That one's pretty obvious. There's lots of books without pictures. You might have to just like, you know, get the book in person, I guess, you know, and just like flip through to make sure there are no pictures. But tons of nonfiction books don't have pictures, but there are a ton that do have plates and stuff with lots of images and stuff as well. All right, read a book with more pictures than text. I would go, if I were you, I would go with a National Geographic book, which are National Geographic is obviously known for all of its images. If I could, you know, open it, and you know, of course, they're going to be like super good, super awesome. I really enjoyed this one. It was Our Inviting Eastern Parklands, from Acadia to the Everglades, because I've been to Acadia National Park and stuff. So just wanted to learn a little bit more about it, but that'd be a good way to go for that one. Right, and read a book about something that happened at least 100 years ago. Pretty much 95% of my library is that. I got tons of medieval books, Greece, Rome, ancient stuff. You know, you basically just pick a topic that you're interested in. It doesn't even have to be that long ago. I mean, if you're interested in you know, the Napoleonic times, read something about that, or Victorian times. If you read a lot of historical fiction, stuff like that, interested in that age, just pick up a book that has to do with that. Alright, another challenge is to read a book that gives you deep thoughts, and we're kind of going like something like philosophical, or basically big questions about, you know, anything basically. One I really enjoyed was Pre-Socratic Philosophy, a very short introduction by Catherine Osborne, and I would just highly encourage you guys to give the Oxford Very Short Introduction series a try. They have, I think, like 500 or 600 books in that series so far, and it's over just tons of topics, like just off like my hand, off like the few I have basically the Earth, postmodernism, philosophy, history, Shakespeare, film. It's like all kinds of, just pretty much, if you could think of it, they probably have a book that's somehow kind of related to it. So, and like I said, they're very short and compact, obviously very short introduction, so it's not meant to overwhelm you. I highly encourage you to check this series out. And I accidentally skipped over a challenge, which was to read a book to help develop a talent or skill. I'm not like the greatest of cooks. I can grill stuff pretty good, but I can't like cook very well. So I thought I might try pizza on the grill. Might try a couple of recipes, basically from this cookbook. I think that'd be a good skill to develop, because most everyone loves pizza, and I love grilling, so it's a good way to kind of combine the two of those things into, you know, a useful skill. And the last one, read a book to do with the mind. So we're thinking maybe like some sort of psychology book, maybe sociology, something like that. And I had a book right here, which since I do a lot of life science books, I'm going with Other Minds, which I mean, I've already read it. It wasn't particularly my favorite, though I could see why lots of people would like it. And it's about the octopus, the sea, and the deep origins of consciousness. And basically he goes into like the psychology of people and octopuses and squids and stuff, and how they're similar, and why basically octopuses and some of the other cephalopods probably have some sort of consciousness, and basically how their nervous system is different from ours but also similar. So I thought that was kind of cool. But there's lots of obviously psychology books and stuff if that interests you. So those are just some prompts. I know I kind of got carried away with the recommendations and stuff on that. Go ahead and try to combine as many of these as you want. If you want to try and do a lot of the challenges, definitely double or triple or quadruple up on the challenges. But yeah, just if you guys have any recommendations for me or for others in the comments, definitely leave those. I'd like to see what people are thinking about what they're going to be reading and stuff. And if you're going to have a TBR video for this readathon, or if you're going to participate, leave a comment and a link down below so I can definitely go check them out. That'd be really cool. I'd be really interested to see what other people are going to be picking up for their nonfiction reads in the month of November. And also, if you guys want me to make any videos on like recommendations for a particular topic or one of those challenges or anything like that, anything nonfiction related or pretty much anything, just leave a comment down below. I'll see if I can cook something up basically for you. But also just leave some comments if you want just like really specific recommendations. I respond to everyone's comments, especially regarding recommendations and stuff. I've done that in the past already. But if you have anything like that, definitely don't hesitate to leave a comment or a question down below. I'll definitely get back to you and see what I can do to help. And always remember, whatever you end up reading in the month of November, always remember, read victoriously.